Hello and welcome to the Gamers Roundtable. We are gamers talking about games. Thanks for joining us. I'm LeafX, host of the show here. We're going to go over things that happen in the gaming industry, talk about video games, the things we love, the things we hate, and we hope that you can join along with us. I'm going to go down the line and say hello to the people joining me today, so you know the voices that you're hearing in case you have us on in the background. So once again, I'm LeafX. Down at the end, we have Adblock Adam, a.k.a. the president of Canada himself. Hello, Adam.
Sponsored by uBlock.
uBlock. And that wonderful laughter came from Charles. Hello, Charles.
Hello. Welcome.
So once again, as I mentioned, we're Gamers Roundtable. We can talk about video games. This may potentially be our last time on the Hangouts of Googling. We are making the transition over to Twitch. Seems like a platform that would better benefit something like this. So we're going to be doing that hopefully next week, and we do this every week at 7 p.m. on Monday. That's 7 p.m. EST. So make sure you join up with us. We like to have people join us, talk, join in the conversation. We like to hear everyone's input on things. So right now, if you join us, we got a live Q&A. Make sure you jump into that, ask us some questions about the news pieces we have. But with that, today we're just going to go over a bunch of news pieces, keep it short and sweet as our goodbye to Google Hangouts. First, though, we're going to talk about what we played this week, see if anybody's found any sweet games. So we're going to start with Charles this time. Charles, have you played any sweet games this week? Anything new? I think I know the answer. What's going on in your gaming life right now?
Patch 6.84. It's like a new game.
That's for Dota, in case anybody doesn't know what numbers mean.
No, nobody knows what numbers mean. I can't even think if I've played anything else recently. I've just not been playing anything but Dota.
So when did that release?
Oh, that hit test servers beginning of last week, and I think it became live beginning of this weekend. Oh, I've been playing Neverwinter. That's right, Neverwinter, the online RPG. But
nice. That's actually, speaking of RPG, I saw Guild Wars 2 actually. They have an
that's an expansion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have an expansion, and the way they're giving people beta invites is actually kind of cool. They're actually loot drops from
nice.
Enemies in the game. So the loot drops are where people are getting their beta invites for the expansion. So that's kind of cool. But if you could give us a quick synopsis of this patch. Now, I know Charles could go on for probably hours, so I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to maybe give us the highlights of the patch that...
In haiku form.
Go.
Oh, dear God. I don't have that much time to form haikus. Are you kidding me? What they did is they rebalanced a lot of the heroes. They nerfed Troll into oblivion by basically reducing one of his abilities. They nerfed Sniper, so now it's no longer about Sniper and Troll, and it's more about... they tried to take away the long, 60-minute games by reducing these... by nerfing these champions and adding 9 new items. Last patch they added, I think, 1 item, Crimson Guard, and now they've got 9 new items that have completely new mechanics. Let's see, Lotus Orb has Spell Reflect. They have items that you can now consume to gain a permanent buff instead of holding a space in your inventory. You get less than what you've had item, but whatever. And they added cooldown reduction and spell lifesteal in the same item, and I think Reddit is freaking out over how we're League of Legends now. But Reddit is irrelevant, so who gives a fuck? And yeah, they just basically changed the entire landscape of the game by adding these new items in, and it's great that they added them in, I don't know, 3 months from the most important Dota tournament in the world.
Yeah,
so good luck, professionals.
Yeah. So do you see this as being a complete metagame changer, or is it just going to be a couple things just to get used to?
Well, now because of how strong the Octarine core is, there's less of an emphasis on your right-click heroes, like your Troll and your Sniper, and there's more of an emphasis on people who actually cast spells. I've actually seen that in the past few... I played 3 games since the patch, and every game I've seen somebody buy an Octarine core, and that team ended up winning. And that's just 1 item. I think that item's got a really high win rate on its own. I don't know. I haven't actually read the stats, but it's a really strong item. They added a whole bunch of those things, and I think it's the people who are abusing the new items that are going to end up winning until next patch, because they're taking advantage of the items that aren't actually balanced yet.
Yeah. Now, do you see them doing another patch before the international?
No. I don't really see them changing very much other than like slight stat adjustments. If they change anything too wildly, it's going to break all of the professionals. They have to adjust to all of this too, and they have to form their strategies. They have to understand the meta and theory craft everything and just get themselves back into shape where they're winning games again.
Well, that's true. When you say that one specific item seems to be the effect of people winning, that sounds like a meta change for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be a lot of work. People are gonna
it's a lot of the new items are geared towards spellcasters and supports, so they're gonna start reigning supreme, even though the carries used to be the right clickers, and now the carries are going to be people who have AoE damage because they can take advantage of things like spell lifesteal, and they can protect themselves from things like the Lotus Orb.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of work that's put in it. So I understand why you want to get back to the grind, so that you can go and win the international. And
yeah, because I'm totally going to the international. That's definitely a thing. It's not.
And speaking of, I guess while we're on it, the international, for people who don't know, is the biggest Dota tournament of the year, and the compendium, I guess, is Charles was explaining it to me earlier. Is basically you buy some packs for this, and you get things from it. But part of the money, 25%, I guess, from your purchases or points go towards the pot prize for this tournament. The pot prize for this tournament last year, I think, reached around 12 million. I think we're already at 5.5. You said?
Yeah, we're at 5.5 million already. The compendium was released last week, and I think all of those funds are coming from the compendium. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the major fundraiser for the prize pool for the international. And only been out for 1 week, and it's already up to 5.5 mil. I know plenty of people who still want to buy the compendium who haven't done it yet, and it gives you all sorts of fun things like mini games, fantasy Dota, the teams. You get to sort of it helps guide you through the international, so it's like a roadmap as well. And I'm pretty sure it also grants you tickets to stream the international as well.
That's
so
awesome.
You can just watch the international from home.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, well, I know last year they did it on Twitch. Are they not doing that?
Maybe the finals are
okay. Finals,
Twitch,
yeah, finals were on Twitch.
But like throughout all the remainder of the games, like this is your in-game like ticket.
Gotcha.
Like your in-client ticket to watch the games.
Yeah, no, that's fun. Even though I'm not too knowledgeable on the game myself, it's still fun watching. And just so last time I ran a viewing party for it, and it was still fun sitting with people, asking questions and learning about it, watching the final competition. Last year, I heard though it ended pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that was because of the death ball meta. What you do is you just basically really early on go for 5-man pushes, like well before the 30-minute mark. So like you're pushing 15 minutes, and then if you've got a good push, you win team fights, you just push straight through to the base. Game's over. That's what happened in the finale for. Yeah, that's what ended up happening for the finale last year, which was kind of disappointing, but.
Yeah, it's like a boxing match being over with one punch right at the beginning, right? You're just like, oh, it's done?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So
I feel like the game's going to be longer. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the international. I think that's happening in August. Check it out. I expect the prize pool to be absolutely huge this year. Well, I expect it to be last year's for sure. Esports is
Valve still growing. Yeah, Valve has compendium goals. currently the compendium goals, they have goals up to 15 million for prize pool. Last year, what they ended up having to do is add stretch goals because they went past that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so with that, we're gonna over and see what Mr. President has been playing this week. Anything interesting at all, Mr. President of Canada?
I got a game on my Vita called Hotolnik, I think. I can't remember how to pronounce it, honestly. Japanese game where you are controlling two little fairies or points of light on the screen and trying to guide this little girl through a post-apocalyptic wasteland and picking up fragments of memories and stuff. It's a neat little puzzle game, a little bit simple though. And the fact that you use both touchscreens on the Vita is kind of annoying because the back one's not very fun to use.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like I have shovels for hands, and it's a little awkward holding those little spots. My fingers are always resting on the touchscreen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it has dragging and tapping actions and stuff, so it gets kind of awkward. Other than that, Shovel Knight on PC, fun as expected.
And I heard there's actually the new PS Plus games that came out. There's a couple of Vita games on there. I forget what they were now. I know I saw Holy Guacamole was one of them. I'm trying to remember what.
No, Guacamole.
Guacamole, yeah, sorry.
Holy guacamole.
Oh, that's a local restaurant.
Guacamole is fun.
Yeah. That's one. I haven't actually played it yet.
The Sony Golden Week sale, I think, just ended or started.
Yeah, it was a bunch of Japanese titles, movies.
Yeah,
games.
super cheap.
Yeah. I know I saw Battle of the Gods was on there pretty cheap. So I actually forgot to buy it, so hopefully it's still on there because I want to rent that out if I can. Another thing too. Last week, Charles. On that note, Charles mentioned the I am what is it? I am bread or something.
Oh, I am bread. Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny just in light that Battlefield isn't going to have or Battlefield, sorry, Battlefront isn't going to be having space battles. I Am Bread just released a free expansion called Starch Wars, and yeah, Starch Wars, and basically you are fighting with a bunch of Star Wars vehicles in space that are shaped with like crackers or pieces of bread, and there's an ironing board I think in there. A bunch of stuff, and it actually looked like it could be a bit of fun. So I would suggest going and checking out the trailer. They just released a YouTube video for it. But I think it's funny that they just throw this in as the free expansion, and Battlefront can't put it in.
Yeah, that's the May the 4th be with you game update.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, happy May the 4th be with you. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that it was like, hey, yeah, have it for free. But I'm sure we'll see something as DLC down the road for Battlefront. Yeah, so you've been playing this Vita game. Is there anything else?
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight, yes. So just yeah, nothing major. Because once again, everything's being delayed to 2016.
No, I got a huge ass backlog of things to play. I was just doing more work than anything else.
Fair enough. And then for myself again, I guess you're entirely right on that aspect. I've been trying to get back into Smash Brothers Melee a bit more, get the grind going on. Lots of tournaments coming up all across North America. I think there's actually a national every week for the rest of the summer. Once Get On My Level hits, there's a national every week for the rest of this summer. It's going to be the summer of Smash for sure. Esports is taking off even more so. So with that, I guess we got a couple news pieces in the bottom again. Once again, if anybody's watching, join in the Q&A and give us your 2 cents on any of these news pieces we talk about. But right off the bat, couple smaller ones. Just Cause 3 has gameplay revealed. Said it's going to be launched in holiday 2015. I watched the trailer. If you guys haven't, it looks like Just Cause, just prettier, and it looks like it's more populated. One of my things I never could get too far in Just Cause. It didn't seem very populated. It felt too empty compared to games like Grand Theft Auto. Um, I don't know what it was, but it just I don't know, felt just sparse. Not much going on there. So as much as fun as the game mechanics were, you're kind of just playing with yourself in a sandbox. Sometimes it's nice to have friends with you. So I hope they actually launch a multiplayer with that too. I don't know if anybody's heard anything on that at all. But the other thing, another small one, Dead Island 2 has been delayed to 2016, in case anybody was looking forward to that. We need more zombie survival games, right?
I think we need more games that people don't care about.
Exactly. No, I just found it kind of funny, that whole situation with Dead Island 2, Dying Light. This is actually why am I forgetting the name of the development studio? It's
Deep Silver.
No, Deep Silver's the publisher.
Oh.
Techland was the guys that did the first one. They did Dying Light, and now it's the guys that did Spec Ops. The line.
You see, I honestly thought Dead Island 2 was just renamed to the one game, and that's it.
I'll tell you the story behind that. Once I find out the developer, it's brain farting me again. Jaeger, that's it. Jaeger Development. So it could be interesting if they do it right. Jaeger's had a really interesting product on their hands with Spec Ops. But yeah, so the whole thing that happened, and this is kind of the part I want to talk about, was originally Techland was making Dead Island 2, and Dead Island 2 actually became Dying Light. The developers at Techland wanted to add a bunch of stuff, but the publishers, Deep Silver, wanted more of Dead Island 1. They wanted that product. They wanted it to be like that. But Techland's like, well, we want to add new things. We want to make this the next level, right? It seems like a fair thing to want to make your sequel to a game as a little better, more things in it, innovate a bit. So Techland just had a bit of creative differences with Deep Silver and split off, and then they kept their product. They didn't own the rights to Dead Island, so they had to change the name to Dying Light. So that's what we ended up with. Dying Light is the sole successor to Dead Island. That is the true successor. So Dead Island 2 now just got delayed. I'm predicting because of the success of Dying Light. I feel like Deep Silver, because they didn't want to change the game, now have to change the game. And I found it kind of funny, just ironic, I guess, that they wanted things to stay the same, but because they wanted that, they had to change. So now I saw some people thinking they were defending Deep Silver on this, saying that it sucks for them that Techland went off and made this game anyways. I don't know from Adam, from your side. I know you're you're in the industry a bit, so you understand that whole relationship. Do you think it was kind of disrespectful for Techland to continue their project and release it?
Well, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money, right?
Yeah.
Was it disrespectful to the goal of getting money for any of the interested parties?
Yeah,
or the involved parties? If so, then it was disrespectful to that party.
I guess. I find it funny though that people would defend Deep Silver, just because you look at just the way Techland makes their games. They have they'll have messages of the day where it's just a developer puts a message up saying, hey, thanks for playing the game, really appreciate you taking interest in the product that we made, and we love that and hope that you're enjoying it. So I'm partial more towards Techland, but it's just, I thought it was kind of funny that because they didn't want to change, they inevitably had to change.
So yeah, like developers need to have freedom to do what they need to do, but
mhm.
unfortunately, I am just as interested in the details and news about this entire thing as I am the game, which is not at all. I'm actively disinterested. Not disliking it, but disinterested.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think the whole zombie thing's been a little overplayed at this point. Um, so moving on from that, this was interesting. It was actually brought up last week. I think Manny, yeah, it was Manny that had asked. Weren't there supposed to be Sony TVs having PlayStation Now? PlayStation Now being the service that allows you to stream games off the PlayStation Network, and it looks like Sony's still got that in mind because PlayStation Now is now available. I think as of now on Blu-ray disc players. So if you have a Blu-ray disc player on Sony's Blu-ray disc player, sorry, you can actually stream games through it. So you don't. It kind of acts as, I guess, a set-top box in that sense. Instead of having to get a whole new TV for it with the app on it, you just have to update your Sony Blu-ray player, and you'll get instant access to all these games. So I think that's good that they're still rolling that kind of stuff out. Do either of you own a Blu-ray player besides like a Sony video game console?
Not independent, and this is really curious because it makes you ask, what percentage of non-gaming console Blu-ray players does Sony have? Like, I have no clue if it's the majority or irrelevant.
Yeah, no, it's true, but I think from what I understand, again, we'd have to look it up, but I think the cool thing too is you can attach your DualShock 4 to the Blu-ray player now.
Well, how else would you play?
Yeah,
right?
well, with your I guess your remote control, map the buttons how you want. But yeah, no, it's I think for the most part, there's only a couple major players. Well, at least they're used to. Again, obviously it's changed now. At the beginning that were in Blu-ray, so I would presume Sony has a fair market share on that. But I think the other question is how many Blu-ray players belong to gamers that don't already have a gaming system that can play these games. Like, as I said, out of you two, do you guys own a Blu-ray player besides a gaming console?
No.
What's a Blu-ray player?
Yeah. So the thing is, though, the audience they have to be going after now is people who are buying their Blu-ray players and might be interested in playing games, or people who might be interested in that feature set, which would entice them to buy the Blu-ray player. Which is why I was kind of asking what percentage of their sales of Blu-ray players are not their home consoles, because like that small subset of that must be not that many people they're trying to get here. It's super strange, but maybe it's a huge thing in Japan. I don't know.
I feel as if they're trying to just make their Blu-ray players more attractive and maybe gain more market share. Because, again, as it says here, Sony has the first and only PlayStation Now enabled Blu-ray disc players. So it's only Sony players.
Oh, their TVs from 2014 as well. So they had a shit ton of TVs. They were the official TV of the World Cup and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the inroad for that.
Yeah, I feel like they're just trying to. I guess it's a way to get people into that ecosystem.
Right. They're all probably running the same Android software underneath. So it was probably trivial to have it on both, so they just did it on both, whereas they probably only targeted one of them to begin with.
Yeah. Someone needs a Blu-ray player. Well, I'm going to get this one that can play video games too, right?
But then they'd buy the PS4. I guess these things must be $100 then or something.
I think Blu-ray players tend to sit around about $200 or so.
Wait for the PS4 Slim.
Certainly cheaper than a video game system itself.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's if streaming becomes a thing, eventually you're not going to need a home console anymore. You just buy a Blu-ray player.
Unless you play anything that depends on latency or good quality or 60 FPS.
Yeah. No, that's true.
or high resolution, or I could go on. I could go on.
Well, I was talking to a local here the other day, and they were talking about a system that fighting games have. Um, where,
GGPO.
yeah, so they I guess they actively look. They have like a delay, a few frames of delay in which they can receive commands, and then they kind of like rewind time, I guess, and input the command. So there's essentially zero latency over
So yeah,
a network.
GGPO does some trickery where it tries to guess. Effectively, it's trying to guess certain frames ahead what your inputs are, or guess what the game state is. And when the inputs from both players don't sync up for that, it rewinds and then replays to get to the right state, or it just sets it to the right state. Um, if you maximize the frames on that, you can effectively simulate modern netcode, which is the bad modern netcode that Street Fighter 4 uses, which is just delay the thing until you get the inputs.
Yeah.
Um, that's like really cool, and it's a novel solution to a tough problem, but it doesn't solve the fact that when you press the input, it must take a while. Like your local device is a thin client receiving a video stream, right, and transmitting inputs.
Yeah.
Like if you're just doing things like forward back, and so on, like the game's not gonna. You're gonna see that delay, right?
Uh-huh.
Like you can't predict on that level of granularity, I don't think.
No, that's true. I guess there's always going to be that element of latency due to the fact that it has to, the inputs have to travel somewhere. If it's not being processed locally, it's got to go somewhere else first, right? So yeah, it's streaming. I think for at least it's going to be good for more of a casual audience, which makes sense, and it's going to be on Blu-ray players. Or for hardcore if you're just playing casual games. But yeah, competitive will never work on something like that.
Yeah, but
That's why I find it funny that Street Fighter is actually a game that Ultra Street Fighter is a game that you can get on PlayStation Now right now.
oh yeah. So here's the thing: you will see fighting games die before you see them abandon streaming. Which is to say, streaming is the way of the future because it's the ultimate DRM. So
Yeah.
it will be the mandatory at some point. Like your home console will just be a thin client eventually. Maybe it's 2 years from now, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 15, but eventually. And it's more that the genres that depend on low latency will simply adapt or die.
Or do you think you could see potential third part or like even new competitors to the market?
No,
Just
no. Like the money in that DRM is too big. The ability to strip anyone of any game at any time like that is just too big.
I guess even if what if Capcom put out their own small dedicated device that costs $50 and would play any of their games?
Capcom wouldn't invest money in that. They would cut off the fighting game division or the fighting game developers that they don't like in the first place and put those resources to use on mobile. That's what I mean. Is the profit motive there is so strong against keeping that genre alive that you would sooner see it die. Rather, the fighting games you will see will be made for that streaming service. That's my pessimistic doom and gloom.
Well, I was going to say that's kind of a damning future that we have then if this is something that's almost inevitable.
Welcome the money.
Yeah, money is evil. But
I mean, it's what you sort of see right now with games. Well, with the 360 and so on, where games basically got away from 60 FPS. Like, you had shitty frame rates even back on the N64 and PS1, but going back before that, your frame rates are actually pretty damn good. It's just we started to push for more graphics, better graphics, because those sold better, so better frame rate didn't sell as well.
No, I get the concept, but I find it unfortunate that that's something that we have to look forward to.
Dosh. I could be totally wrong, but I'm just a pessimist right now.
I think.
No, I actually agree with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
I agree with Adam. This is exactly where the future is going to be going. As soon as the internet connection is fast enough for enough people, they're going to strip anything from. They're basically going to sell you a web browsing client that is capable of taking input.
I wasn't disagreeing. I was kind of lamenting that it's not something I want to see. But
Here's $150 for basically a web browser client that takes commands from a controller, and you pay subscription fees to access games every month.
Yep.
yeah,
It's going to become cable TV for video games.
Oh yeah. And
I think sorry, I think as like an impact on esports though, I think it's going to be more adaptation. I don't think the esports will die out. I think it's going to be adaptation. You look at something like Dota, that works fine right now over internet. That's all through internet. Even with streaming, it with a good connection, it won't be that bad.
Does Dota send the inputs to the server to be validated, or does it perform? I'm pretty sure it performs some logic locally.
I think it sends the inputs to the server to be validated, because if you DC in Dota, like some of the things are handled client side, like voice responses.
Ah, okay.
And like clicking an ability, the ability becomes active, but targeting it or using it, you might start to use it in the client, but nothing will actually happen.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
So you don't turn towards the location to start moving there if the server never gets the response, or you never get the response from the server indicating that's okay.
Yeah,
All
no,
right. Makes sense.
I think it's going to be a weird time. I don't think we're anywhere near having to worry about this. I think we're years off.
This is something our kids are going to have to worry about.
Yeah, no, it's
we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. We're good, but I think it's going to be still years off before it's an issue. Like before streaming.
Are we gonna be deniers of this? Can we be streaming deniers, like climate change deniers? Can I be a thing?
Happen.
No, we'll never see widespread streaming of video games. That's never gonna happen.
Our kids are gonna be like, man, my dad's stuck in the past. He's still playing on his PlayStation 4. Just these boxes.
He doesn't understand set-top boxes.
Like, well, why does he need a system to play his games?
Why do you need a CD to put in the? What is that?
Kids will eventually be not knowing what CDs are.
Eventually.
That's
a scary day.
Here's
eventually.
A little bit of digression. My younger sister actually, she was born in 2000. She was looking through the cupboards and she found a bunch of like my old VHSs, and she asked my mom what they were. And I just realized at that point. Oh, and the other thing.
Sex toys. They're sex toys. That's what they are.
She was at a concert. I think she's 14 now, but she was at a concert, and she was telling me the story how she thought it was funny that someone was holding a lighter up at the concert instead of a cell phone. And that moment there just won't. Because when I first started going to concerts, it was all lighters. There was an odd cell phone.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. This, or did you actually physically hurt yourself?
No, that's bad.
Yeah, and like that for me was the pivotal point that I realized this is we're the middle generation now. We're not the young cool guys anymore. We're the old farts.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
Get off my lawn. But yeah, that one there is the. I knew eventually someone would be like, "What's a VHS? Like, what's a Betamax?" Right? But it was the fact that she thought it was funny that there was a lighter, and weird that there was a lighter instead of cell phones. That's our future. So moving on. So that was the PlayStation Now available. We'll see that that's the future, streaming video games. Now, Adam, you had one down about the GTA patch leads to injection mods getting banned, or getting people banned online.
So yeah, no link for that. Basically, modding in GTA is done through DLL injection, as far as I know. So DLLs being just little blobs that have game code in them, basically. Um, so the idea for those mods is that you would have a thing that injected some code into it, like that changed values, such as your field of view and stuff,
Uh-huh.
or other things depending on the game. In Dark Souls, you could change a whole bunch of stuff, which is how a lot of the early modding on that was done really quickly. Um, with GTA 5, they did a patch about a week ago, a little bit less than a week ago, I guess, that basically broke that, not realistically on purpose, but just because when those DLLs are rebuilt for the new executable, everything has a new memory address relative to each other, so all the old stuff doesn't really work. So mods were broken, but that's expected with this kind of hack. But they also introduced a little thing that monitors for those changes, and if you connect online with a changed DLL, and I don't know if this includes just signing into the social network, Rockstar social network garbage. If you connect online, it just like bans you instantly with if you have a modded file.
That's weird because Rockstar actually, before this, it's fine. Again, I don't have the link to, but I can get that. The Rockstar actually said themselves that cosmetic mods aren't a bannable offense.
Yeah, but things like field of view to them aren't cosmetic, I think.
I guess that could give you an advantage.
Yeah, in the same way that having a higher resolution or having human eyeballs gives you an advantage. But
I saw someone like made a ray gun, but the gun functioned exactly the same.
There's a simple solution, but go on.
No, I was just gonna say, is this? Do you say it was an automatic system banning people, or are they monitoring this? Because how would the system be able to differentiate?
Well, the game you get a checksum of the file and see if it corresponds to the one you have, say, on your server or elsewise. Like you send that in before you send in some secret key to the server when you try and connect online, and the server tries to validate that, and if it fails, it bans you, right? And that secret key is calculated somehow from the file itself. So if you change the file, the key will be different, and thus you get banned. Realistically, Rockstar should have just very simple solution: have a separate folder for online, automatically load those DLLs. That way, people who play offline don't have to fuck with it too much if they want to do a bunch of mods offline.
Yeah, that seems like it should have been an obvious choice.
Yeah, it's
PC.
How do you plan against people fucking with your game, though, right? It's tricky, but banning people wholesale is kind of mean.
I think an immediate ban should be there. I think obviously it's going to be hard to open a ticket for everyone, but I think a warning and someone being able to plead their case saying, hey, this should be allowed.
Yeah, ultimately it probably boils down to them wanting people to spend money to get online dollars to buy things, and if you can hack that in, if anyone can hack that in at any point, that destroys their economy.
Yeah, I guess.
Of course, there's many technical solutions to that work near perfectly, but Rockstar's probably overworked at this point. Well, they're always overworked, always on crunch, so no time for nice.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I think it'll be tough. I feel like a lot of people are going to get banned for cosmetic changes, even though the statement says they won't, just because of that system.
Charles, opinion on people hacking PC games online for fun?
For fun, as long as it doesn't break game balance for others. See, when it starts impacting other people, that's where the problem is. If there's a game economy or like an auction system or something like that, and you just well, I'm just going to hack in all of the money and then just buy the entire auction system. That's not fair for anyone, except, it's not even fair for, well, yeah, no one, because you have all of the items and nobody can buy anything with the money that you gave them. So, whatever. But
right, they have a stock.
Yeah, if things that widely ruin the game, like example, it's no longer fun when somebody's auto aiming because they're just gonna win and you're gonna lose, and it's frustrating as fuck. Or things like, okay, I just don't take damage anymore because my health is 1 billion, and your bullets don't harm me. Like those sorts of things. That's balance and game breaking. But things like I'm a unicorn now. That's not game breaking at all.
Right.
Well,
And
sorry.
the fundamental problem here is that DLL injection, you can't very easily tell what has changed. You can only tell that it has changed. You can't. It's not easy to make a mechanism to tell the server what has changed in that DLL so it knows whether to ban you or not. So
That's
they're
right.
taking the safe route, which I disagree with philosophically, but I understand their logic in doing so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why they don't have some sort of system where they allow modded servers even. Maybe when they start the game up and you go online, say, do you want to play modded? Give a warning. Things could be broken. Things could be crazy. Or say normal online play. A user could select that, or even have it in a hidden menu, so for people that wanted to go and play on modded servers could do it.
Hey, Brody.
And just reroute them to a server that allows mods. But
LeafX, have you ever played a mobile game that needs an internet connection?
yeah,
Isn't necessarily multiplayer, but needs an internet connection.
yeah,
Free-to-play games, freemium games.
yeah, all the time.
Yeah, same reason. Same reason. Same reason that it costs a lot of money to get your own server in Battlefield 4.
But I don't. Why?
Because they want to control any means of players doing something such that you can't just create a server and give yourself everything and play with your friends with everything. They want you to be paying money.
Well, that's why you don't. That's why you don't have on-disc DLC.
No.
People don't have access to those assets.
Pay money. Oh, you mean do the Diablo thing of like streaming assets?
Or some have it so that you actually have to purchase the asset and download it. But it.
Yeah, but then you can potentially share it with people.
Oh yeah, so there was another thing that's transitively related to this. I didn't put it on the docket. There was a glitch where on the Steam, one of the Steam services, a foreign currency had the wrong exchange rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like several orders of magnitude off, several orders of magnitude more valuable. So like it was like a rupee or something became equal to 1 USD.
Oh, jeez.
So people just started buying up all the workshop and auction house stuff on Steam in rupees and then reselling as USD for equivalent items. So Valve caught that in a couple of hours and fixed it. So I don't know if there was any news articles on that, but
I think I heard about that. That was a bit ago, wasn't it?
yeah, I saw a Gaff post. I didn't look at the time. God, Gaff sucks. But anyways, yeah. So that's an example of like something very minor killing an economy instantly.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the logic. I feel like there's got to be some sort of system that's going to allow modding to be, an acceptable, like something that can happen. You can play online with mods.
Hey, you can do it in Street Fighter PC.
What, mod the game and play online?
Yeah, it's just because like they don't like guard against hacking in that way. They don't really care to, and it ultimately doesn't actually matter. The amount of people who, for that kind of game, who bother to hack to cheat is just too small to care about compared to the amount of people who just do everything else. Plus, PC is so small for that game genre that they don't care.
Well, and it's also they don't have, in that sense, an ecosystem too, where there's like, they have items and DLC and stuff, right? So.
Well, like they have shit tons of DLC, but I think they don't care about PC user money at all, really. So like.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish there's a way everyone could get along.
No.
Never. Um,
What do we got next?
next we got. I wish Zach was here. He'd like this. Mighty Number Nine. I guess gets a launch date and a physical copy. I didn't know that was happening. Adam, if you want to elaborate.
Gets a launch date, middle of September, I think, and physical copies announced. I can't remember if that was part of the Kickstarter campaign. I don't think it was.
No, I don't. I don't remember there being a physical copy of it before.
Yeah,
as before.
physical copy on several platforms. I think Vita as well, and I mentioned that just because.
I presume last gen, current gen.
Yeah,
PC.
but yeah, that game got overfunded, and its asset work doesn't appear to justify it. So hopefully, this is what they're spending their money on.
Well, they said they're going to be adding a bunch of extra stuff to it because of the overage as well.
Well, they had somehow after this the funds to create a game nobody was asking for called Azure Striker Gunvolt, which is a fine game and a beautiful 2D sprite work that should have been in a new Mega Man game or something. It's so good. But nobody was asking for that. There was obviously no demand for that, but they somehow funded and made that game after Mighty Number 9 was the Kickstarter thing finished for that, but before it came out. So I don't know, something weird at Concept, the way they do things.
Yeah, and speaking of Kickstarters being overfunded,
yes.
This one would be great if Braden was here because I know he was talking about. But Ukulele, it's the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. Its original goal was 175,000 pounds, or no, yeah, is that euros or pounds? That's euros. And it ended up reaching within 38 minutes. It hit the goal, and it's now currently at 1,345,832 over its original goal of one.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's pounds. That's pounds sterling.
Okay. I forgot the civils.
Oh yeah, a lot higher than that.
Hmm?
In USD. A lot higher than that.
Yeah, so it's for some reason it's just linking me to the it's on Kickstarter.com, but it says it's in pounds for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just my tablet is set to UK. Either way, it's way over its mark. So it looks like they already showed gameplay for it too. Just like a quick tech demo of the game. If you guys want to check that out, you can go Ukulele. It's spelled YOOKA-LAYLEE. Ukulele. I guess those are the characters' names. Yeah, go check that out. I know, again, Braden was excited about that. I think it's only 3 months into development at this point, so there's not much to see, but obviously, hopefully, we'll see some more about that soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like collectathons, I don't know if they can come back.
Collectathon?
Yeah, that's what Banjo-Kazooie was. Banjo-Kazooie was.
Oh, Collectathon. Yeah, okay, yeah. Collecting stuff.
Yeah,
we'll see. Like Infamous had a lot of that in it, and it was obviously wasn't the core of the game, but it was still fun to do and complete.
And that's the thing. That is the core of Banjo-Kazooie, but that was effectively the style of N64 and even PS1 game at the time. So we got so many of them. It's kind of like Guitar Hero or music games. We got so many of those for a while, and we got so many modern era first-person shooters for a while. Can that style come back? Has it been long enough, or is it still too tired, or was it never very good to begin with?
I think if it can learn from a lot of the stuff that's happened in the past and newer changes more recently with games, take some innovation from other genres. I think it's time that it could come back. And again, this isn't going to be released probably for another few years, right? So it's only 3 months into development. It's I don't know. I think it could do good if it innovates enough. If it just tries to do the same old thing, I feel like it's not going to be long enough for it to come back. But if there's something new to it, maybe the collecting isn't the core. It's just a huge element to it, you know. And maybe they'll have a great story that'll pull you along with it. Um, so we'll see. I think if done just right, it'll be fine. I think it's been enough time.
Yeah, they passed the Grant Kirkhope soundtrack stretch goal.
What was the stretch goal for that?
Or have they passed that yet? Oh, no, they're not quite there.
Right,
That's the 1.5 million pounds one.
it passed. What Grant Kirkhope? What's he worked on?
Most of Rare's good things.
Oh, okay.
And even some of their bad things, where his thing was the only redeemable thing.
Okay. So
yeah, you'll recognize his style if you listen to any of the stuff.
Okay. And then speaking of Rare, looks like they're set to reveal a new game at E3. Are there any speculations on that?
Well, they said it's not a Kinect game.
Well,
I guess.
funny.
Apparently, rumors say.
I'm looking. I love how they have to use that as a selling point. It's not a Kinect game. I was looking at the title and it just says set to unveil game, more fun than anything we've ever done, not for Kinect. I thought that was a brilliant title.
The last thing they revealed was a Kinect game, so they kind of have to say it. That's what they are now, right?
I guess, yeah, fair enough.
Their Kinect games sold a lot, though. They sold a lot. But yeah, so maybe.
Were they prepackaged games though? Like, did they come with the systems?
Some of them were. Some are sold independently. They all sold really well. Phil Spencer, the guy at Microsoft who's kind of making all the hard decisions when it comes to Xbox, he seems to be a much more agreeable guy. So maybe they're doing cool things now under his overall.
Yeah, Phil Spencer's. Who'd they have before that?
Don Matrick, or was Matrick the other position?
I think didn't Phil go up to Matrick's spot?
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, and
there was another Phil that left Microsoft. I forgot his name.
Yeah, no, 100% agree though that Phil's doing a lot better job with things. A lot of things change around once.
Phil Harrison left Microsoft. That's it.
What?
Phil Spencer is the good guy. Phil Harrison's the guy who left just a little while ago.
Yeah, no, Spencer's the good one for sure.
But yeah, like apparently all of Rare's woes over the years have just been like them not having a good creative direction and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even like corporate malfeasance, just them, they're the two top guys leaving and then them not having any direction. So maybe they finally got that. Maybe.
I think the last Rare game I actually played was Donkey Kong Country.
On the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
That was a very long time ago. I'm pretty sure that was the last Rare game I ever played. Yeah, I think it was. But so no other speculation. Do they still have any of the IPs? Like that they originally had before?
Yeah, all of them.
Do they? I thought some of them got gone.
Like what?
Oh no, sorry. No, they just all the IPs they worked on died off.
Yeah, they just didn't do anything useful.
Oh, okay, that's what I was thinking. Essentially, they were gone because they didn't do anything with them. Yeah, I guess that because from what I've seen, though, a lot of their games were always really good. So hopefully it's something exciting, as they say it is. So I'd be down for playing another Rare game 15 years later. And then there's one other news piece we had on here. Was Adam, you had this one as well. AMD doing a PC gaming show at E3. And again, I didn't have time to read that article before the show here. Can you kind of summarize? Is there anything specific they're talking about, or is it just kind of an announcement of an announcement?
I didn't really read through it, in that I saw the headline several times in several places, and it's basically what I thought it was, which is like they're putting on a show to showcase a bunch of stuff from different developers on PC, and it just seems like a standard marketing thing. Like, it's kind of the problem that PAX has, where it's like not really new things. It's just kind of a circle jerk of existing things and how great everyone is. Like, obviously, exciting things will happen, they say, so there will probably be a couple of announcements, but I'd be expecting it to be like, oh, we're pre-announcing DLC for or for Deus Ex or something. Like, I expect nothing super cool.
Isn't AMD working on that new graphics card technology?
You'll have to be specific. Every single press release they have is like new graphics card technology thing that catches up with NVIDIA.
Yeah, that's a lot of what the news is nowadays. Is new graphics card technology being pushed by AMD that might actually bring them online with NVIDIA. So they seem pretty excited about that. So maybe let them have a bit of fun.
Basically, what I got from this.
No.
Tim Clark says, we're living in a golden age of PC gaming, but unlike other platforms, the PC has no format holder, no marketing department, and until now, no event during E3 week purely devoted to it.
It didn't need them.
So they're thinking that, I guess that's what this is for. But yeah, it's going to be hosted by Day 9, actually.
Oh, Day 9's with that?
I guess I should have mentioned that stuff because that would be interesting to you guys. But
yeah,
oh my god, it's being hosted by Cliffy B. Fuck that guy.
No. It's hosted by.
Oh, featuring appearances. Sorry, featuring appearances.
Cliffy B is making an appearance.
God, he's such a fucking scumbag. It's amazing.
He's a dick. Yeah, so other developers from Blizzard, Bohemia, Cloud Imperium, Tripwire, Square Enix, Obsidian, Paradox, Humble Bundles, and all that. So I guess basically they just want to have a show. What E3's coming up, isn't it?
Isn't that usually in June?
June, usually around June 4th, like usually the first week of June. So we're just about a month out from that.
Yeah, we gotta do a pre-3.
A pre-3 show.
Yep.
Yeah, no, we did that last year. We actually that was a long one. We did a pre-3 show. We had our speculations, what we expect to see going into it, and then afterwards we talked about what happened and who was wrong and who was right, kind of stuff. But we'll definitely be doing that this year as well. So make sure everybody join us on that because that'll be fun. But yeah, that for news pieces, that's all. And that's all we had on there. I don't know if there's any other topics you guys wanted to discuss before we headed out at all. Adam?
Shovel Knight's good. Buy Shovel Knight.
I probably
should have said that a long time ago, but
E3 2015 looks like it's mid-June. If the article has anything to do with it, let's see. June 16th to June 18th.
There we go. There's our answer. June 16th to June 18th.
And at the Los Angeles Convention Center.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure that was where it was last year.
Pretty sure it's there every year. Every year.
Every year. Yeah, Manny actually goes to that all the time.
Yeah, he does.
He's living right there, so we get to hear his complaints and everything afterwards about it.
Maybe he'll stop by. Maybe he'll stop by after E3 and tell us about it. Maybe.
Let's get him to live cast it from E3.
Yeah, we'll give him our Twitch and he can live cast everything.
We'll mail him an actual fucking signal booster, like in a backpack, so that he can get reception and actually fucking record shit.
It's like a World War II backpack, just.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody gets reception at those things, so like.
Yeah, well, they probably have blockers in it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, though that's illegal.
That. Huh?
That's illegal, though.
Have Wi-Fi blockers?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're blocking wireless signals that you're not allowed to, according to the FCC.
Even on a private property?
Yes, because you can't control how far that stuff goes.
True, I guess.
Even on your own property, you don't own the signals going through it, right?
But they're interacting with me.
Sure, but so is the trillions of signals coming from satellites right now going through your body.
Yep, I'm getting a whole bunch of Wi-Fi blockers, putting them in my house.
Now, what you can do is build a Faraday cage around your entire building or within the actual foundation of your building, and that's totally legal.
Because it's not an actual active jammer or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get lead walls.
Yeah, and lead poisoning.
Whatever, at least I'm safe from the signals. Logic. Cool. Charles, do you have anything else to add on to the end?
All my news pieces ended up getting in my what am I playing this week. So.
Oh, perfect. That worked out well. Okay, well then with that, I think we'll finish her up for this next quick episode. And then, again, we'll see you next week. If you go to, you can follow us right now, actually, we already have it. It's twitch.tv/GamersRoundtableShow. So once again, that's twitch.tv/GamersRoundtableShow. Or you can go underneath me here. It's youtube.com/GamersRoundtableShow. And all of our videos will be exported out to YouTube as well, so you can watch them later. Or again, catch us live. Join us in the chat on Twitch next week. So go follow. Subscribe, all that wonderful stuff, so we can you can join us next week. So we'll go online and say goodbye to everybody. Mr. President, thank you for coming out and joining us.
Always a pleasure.
He's imitating Braden. Robot mode. And Charles, thanks for coming out. You can follow Charles at Trulls and twitch.tv/Trulls.
Trolls.
You can see it right under his face there. Give it a pointer, Rudy.
Yeah, it's on the screen somewhere. You can't pronounce that, can you? You just it's a knot, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it Cruels or Trulls?
Trolls.
Trolls. So kind of like troll and lulls mixed together.
I suppose. I guess that makes sense.
Do you do it for the trolls?
It actually comes from one of my friends being really, really drunk and trying to say my name once.
Trolls.
I kind of appreciated it.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you can go follow him on the interwebs. Thanks for coming out, Charles, and joining us again.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And once again, I'm LeafX. You can follow me on Twitter at LeafX. Make sure you go to twitch.tv or youtube.com/ on both of them, Gamers Roundtable Show. Follow, subscribe, that stuff. And we'll see you later. And as always, keep gaming hard.
Au revoir.